I want to start this video with a story. This is a true story. It happened to my wife just 4 short days ago. And this story revolves around her sitting at a red light and the gentleman in the car behind her forgetting that he had a brake pedal. And that lapse in judgment from the gentleman behind my wife has resulted in me obsessively car shopping for the last 4 days. And before you ask in the comments, my wife is okay. Thank you for your concern, although our van, not so much. It has been totaled. So as I've been obsessively researching new vans, my algorithm on my phone and on my internet search history has started to change. And I've started to be bombarded with car-related content. And in particular, for whatever reason, maybe the almighty YouTube algorithm knows I'm a financial planner, I've been getting these videos of people talking about how ludicrously high their car payments are. And in particular, there's a video I'm going to show a clip from in a second where a series of different gentlemen that work at a car dealership show how much they've spent over their entire time at this dealership. And what it made me realize is just how much of a wealth killer your car can be. So I'm going to quantify how much wealth this particular gentleman that I'm going to pick on in the video has killed by spending so much on his car. Let's get into it. All right, so first I got to show you the clip to make sure we're on the same page. And before I even show you George, I'm going to tell you right now, I did not cherry pick him as the largest number in this video. He's not even close to the largest number in this video. In fact, he's more close to average, but let's take a look at George here.
My name is George. I've been with the company 26 years and I've probably spent about $390,000. Wow. That's a little more than I thought I spent.
$472,000 George has spent on vehicles at that one dealership alone. I will make the assumption that he has not spent so much as $1 on a vehicle anywhere else, but $472,000. I had to write this down here. That is $18,160 per year, or an average of $1,513 per month for the entirety of 26 years. That is an unbelievable amount of money to be spending on vehicles, especially considering nobody cares what you're driving. As long as it's reliable and gets you from point A to B, that seems like an astronomically high amount of money. So if you've watched the channel, you probably know where this is going. I've made a spreadsheet to show just how much wealth impact this has had on George. Now, before I even go there, I need to be clear. I don't have a clue who George is. He may own the dealership and be worth $100 million for all I know. He also could be broke. I have no idea, but I know that the average American in this case, or Canadian here, is not worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And I know that a car is usually one of the biggest wealth killers out there. But again, let's quantify this. All right, so here's the chart. I'm going to assume a 6% interest rate. And in the first chart here, I assume he has a $0 car payment the entire way. So that's $18,160 invested per year, or $1,513 per month. And at the end of 26 years, he has $1,132,082 invested in his long-term investment funds. If you follow the channel, you may have heard me talk about something I call Chad's ratio, where I say that for every $1,000 per month that you want in a long-term retirement plan, you need about $200,000 to $250,000 invested at time of retirement. So if George could have had $1.1 million, that means that had he invested that, that would represent somewhere between about $4,000 and $5,000 per month for a 30-year retirement. That is huge. Now, before you blast me in the comments, I am well aware that for 99% of us, that's not a reasonable likelihood, right? Most of us do need a vehicle. I actually do have a client who has never owned a vehicle. I believe I only have one client where that's the case. And if you know who you are and you're watching, hey, how are you doing? Look at the impact that saving, not having a vehicle has made on your financial picture. That's amazing. Now, again, I live in Winnipeg. It's not a very user-friendly city in terms of mass transportation. I need a vehicle, and most of you watching also do need a vehicle. But you don't need to be spending $1,500 per month or $18,000 per year. You can do it a lot better. So here's the assumptions that I'm going to make for the other case here that I'll show in a second. I'm going to assume George pays a reasonable $1,000 per month for 5 years on a vehicle. I still think that's quite high. I've never had a car payment over about $450, but I'm also what many would call frugal. Anyway, so I'm going to do 5-year financing for $1,000 per month, and then I'm going to have George drive that vehicle for another 5 years. So there's no payment, and he's investing the full $18,000 for those 5 years. He's investing the difference for the first 5 and the full amount for the next 5. Then he buys a new vehicle and he finances it for 5 years, and then he drives it for an additional 5, and so on and so forth for the 26 years. So he's obviously not going to end up at the same 1.1 million, but where will he end up? Let's take a look. All right, so once again, we start at $0. Now he's paying $12,000 per year for the car. He's investing $6,160 per year. Then after 5 years, he's done paying for that car. He drives it for an additional 5, investing the $18,100 and looping that over and over and over again. And lo and behold, George finds himself with $678,000. According to Chad's ratio, that's still between $3,000 and $4,000 per month for a 30-year retirement plan. That is amazing. And once again, that's especially amazing because for most people, nobody cares what you're driving. And if you know me as a person, you know that is not an easy sentence for me to say. I used to love cars. I used to sell cars. I used to sell BMWs, a car that's all about image. And so this is so contrary to what I used to be like. This is something I've kind of grown into over the last 10 years. But I definitely just think if a car is reliable and quality, that's all that matters, which is why I'm 6 Hondas in and I'm shopping for another Honda. Anyways, if it's time for me to review your wealth plan, your retirement picture, or see how any of this fits into your retirement future, there will be a link in the description down below that comes directly to me. Until next time, keep planning.